This is the Tech Support Guys show for Sunday, December 9th, 2012. Free time to read your mind. Welcome to the Tech Support Guys show. I'm Mike Cermak, known on the site as Tech Guy, and with me today is Daniel McCarthy.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing today, Danny?
I am neato nifty keen.
I am always glad to hear that. I wish I could say the same. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, and we're just going to try and keep it at that. Got my can of Lysol, got my ginger ale, so I'm going to be set for this short podcast. Joining us in the chat room, as always, don't forget you can go to techguy.tv, join us during the live recording of these shows. We post the next date on there, which was incorrect this time, but usually is correct of when the next show will be, so you can go there and join us live and join in the chat room. Ecom in the chat room started out today saying, "'Tis the season and time to get cheaper HDMI cables," and came across this. And he linked us here to mycablemart.com. And I'm not familiar with this particular site. It looks like they've got pretty good reviews from the looks of it. But what do you think about this, Dan? Where do you get your HDMI cables and other audio type cables?
So I typically get mine when I don't need them immediately. I get them from Newegg or Tiger Direct. And I do this because if you go to Walmart, Best Buy, or any other big box store, they're going to ream you. They're going to charge you $15 to $20 for a cable that costs
at least
$2 to make.
Yeah.
And they also trick people into buying the platinum premium products that are gold plated and all of that, and you don't need it. HDMI is HDMI, regardless of sure, you can have poor construction quality of the cable to where if you bend it, it's going to break a wire inside. But for the most part, all HDMI cables are created equal. So a cheap place to buy HDMI cables, I'm absolutely for, and would definitely recommend you go that route early instead of going to the big box stores and buying cables.
Yeah, and same thing with USB cables. I'm always surprised how much the big box stores charge for USB cables. Right next to the printers, they have those $20 6-foot USB cables. Like, what the heck? And I will, I'm sure some people will argue with your statement that HDMI cable is an HDMI cable. There are different HDMI standards out there, sure, but for your average person who's just looking to connect a Blu-ray player to a 42-inch TV, for 6 feet, it really doesn't matter. But for those real hardcore people, yeah, I know there's better cables out there. So there's places online to get them. The other one that I'll tell you, the two places I usually get my HDMI and other AV cables. One is Monoprice. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one, Dan. Monoprice.com. I am a big fan of Monoprice. They have lots of stuff. They have wall mounts for TVs that start at like $12. They have HDMI cables that start at $3 for 6 feet. They have all kinds of and lots of different cables. I also get a lot of my Cat 5 ends and crimpers and jacks and stuff like that from them as well. So that's
this is where you sent me for my my home networking supplies.
Yes, that is correct. That's where I get them for almost all my jobs. That's my little secret, is Monoprice. It's really, it's quality stuff. It's not top of the line, but for a lot of the stuff, it's a piece of plastic you punch a cable into. It's and they've always worked very well for me. Always been fast shipping. Never had any problems with them. So highly recommend it, and great pricing. The other place I get, especially for HDMI cables, I usually get them from Amazon. We're going to get into Amazon a little bit here in one of our future stories, but I'm a member of Amazon Prime. I suspect Dan is as well.
Yes.
And you can get free 2-day shipping from them, or pay an extra $3 or whatever it is for next day shipping. And Amazon has this series of products out called Amazon Basics. And if you go to Amazon and search for Amazon Basics, you'll find this. And it's stuff that's branded from Amazon, and they have things like HDMI cables. They have an Amazon Basics high-speed HDMI cable, 6.5 feet, supports Ethernet 3D and audio return, newest standard, $5.49 with free shipping. It's hard to go wrong. And you're not getting it from some no-name company you're not sure about. It's coming from Amazon. It's pretty well supported. But they sell, that's also where I get my batteries. Maybe you need to check this out, Dan. You probably have plenty of battery-operated toys. You might do you do rechargeable batteries, Dan, or do you?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We might have to talk about that in a future show. I'm interested in that. I still destroy the environment and use one-time batteries, and but they have AA batteries you can get that are Amazon Basics. You get a pack of 20 for $7,
Yep.
and it's just, and also this is where I've gotten my HD card or my SD cards for my cameras is from Amazon. You can get Amazon Basics SDHC Class 10, which is really fast, 32 gig digital card for $23. I mean, and again, free shipping with these. Yeah, it's dirt cheap and it's reliable and it's Amazon. So
right.
that's another good one to look at. So anyhow, that's my little thing, and I'm going to make notes in here. Another thing we do at TechGuy.tv is that we put notes up there so you can find all the web addresses we're talking about, so you can find Monoprice and all these other ones. Not that they're difficult URLs to remember, but try to make your life a little easier. So I'm going to say good sources for HDMI and other AV supplies. How's that?
Sounds good.
Super duper. So, moving right along. Our next story we wanted to talk about, we're only going to do this and then one about Amazon, try and make it short for you guys, but and for me. But the next one is called Muse. It's by this company called... you were supposed to jump in there, Dan. A company called... Here.
Interexon?
Something like that, yeah. My delay wasn't the pronunciation, but finding it, but now that I found it, it's... yeah.
Interaxon? I don't know.
Interaxon? That sounds right.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyhow... And their product that's forthcoming here, they just raised their goal in one of these project websites. They were trying to raise $150,000 for this, and they raised $287,000. And so what this product is, and hopefully Stan will put a video of it up on the screen for you to see right now, but it's a Bluetooth. It almost looks like a pair of Bluetooth headphones, except you wear it across the front of your forehead, and it has 4 sensors on it. I think 4 sensors that pick up your brain waves.
That's pretty cool.
So it connects via Bluetooth, transmits your brain waves to whatever Bluetooth device. They show it with an iPad in most of their features, and the idea being that in the future you'll be able to use this type of device to control your iPad or basically anything. They talk about being able to turn lights on or off or choose playlists based on your mood and that sort of thing by listening to your brain waves.
Yeah, and this isn't necessarily new technology. It would be new for consumers. They've been working on, they being the greater they out there in the world, the scientists have been working on technology like this for a while. They've had some research on interacting with your computer, moving your mouse left and right based on brainwave functions. But this, I don't think the other technologies that I've looked at, Mike, were using EEG scanning to actually do the mind reading, if you will.
Right. No, I think you're right. I don't know what technology they use, and they've had varying levels of success, I think is a nice way of saying it.
Yes.
And I'm a little concerned after watching the demo video, and I'll put a link in the show notes here of the demo video. I'm a little concerned after listening to it as to exactly what it's going to be able to do when this is released early next year or mid-2013. It sounds like right now it's going to be able to show you a visual of your brain waves, and they're going to have some very basic games in there that basically can detect whether or not you are focusing or not focusing your brain on something. And that's about it from my interpretation of the video. You'll have to watch it and see what you think, Dan. But they say within the next 5 to 10 years or something like that, that they're going to have all sorts of other games and things you can control with it. But 10 years is pretty far out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know how I feel about all that. So this is something that's kind of interesting, kind of exciting, but I think that they might be blowing it out of proportion a little bit for right now. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm eager to see what happens here next year when it comes out. And the other nice thing that they are doing is they're going to release an SDK for it, which Dan will be excited for.
Yes, they do say that they're releasing the SDK for those that have contributed enough money.
Well, I think that those who contribute get an early release to the SDK, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see, where is that at in here? I did read that you get an SDK, but I did not see.
Well, in any event, it's going to be out there one way or another.
Sure.
And the fact that they are opening it at all is kind of a cool thing. And for those who don't know, SDK means that other software developers like Dan could take this product, take this brain reader, and be able to make other software products or hardware products and interface with it. So that really opens up the opportunity of this thing being able to use for something else cool, that it's not limited just to this company coming up with some use for it.
Yeah, I think it has potential uses for sleep patterns, dream patterns, things like that.
Well, and another use they mentioned is wearing it while you're driving, and if as you start to doze off, it'll alert you.
Electric shock. Yeah. This is a little bit of a segue and off topic, but I was reading another article that said that handcuffs of the future would be able to deliver electric shock and drugs.
Now, can they have a lie detector built into them?
I don't know if that's possible, but I thought, if you've got this Bluetooth headband on your head and you're falling asleep while you're driving, a good shock to the temple might bring you back to the road.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't think I think I'll let you try that.
There might be a reason they don't use electric shock therapy.
It might be a reason they don't put Dan in charge of these projects.
This is true.
So anyhow, that's something worth checking into. Unfortunately, the period in which you can sign up early for this project has ended, so you'll just have to watch it and keep an eye out for it to go public early next year, or middle of next year, I think. Ekim in the chat says, I wonder if you could play back dreams. I never remember mine. That's interesting. I never remember my dreams either. I don't know how to attribute that, but I would say probably 3 or 4 times a year I remember my dreams. That rarely. And it would be really awesome to be able to actually record. I'm sure that this thing isn't capable of doing that just yet. Don't get me wrong. I mean, to interpret that there is brain waves and whether or not you're focused on something is very different than trying to record an actual memory or something. But
you can make a fun game out of it though, like based on the brain wave patterns. Like if you put some kind of interpretation engine on it that said, a spike of activity or several spikes of activity, are you falling down some like the Sears Tower or something?
I think that there's a lot of interpretation that would have to take place there. I'm not sure we're going to see that anytime in the next 10 years.
Sure, you can make them happy, you can make them sad, you can make them terrifying. Yeah. You can choose your dream interpretation. Like if you're a glass half full kind of person, then it's a happy one.
Yeah, so it's not an accurate recording of the dream. It's just an interpretation of the brainwave seen during the dream. Now, one thing that legitimately it probably could be used for is because I never do remember my dreams, I actually have researched how to remember your dreams. And one of the things is to be awakened during a certain part of the sleep cycle. If you get the whole way through the sleep cycle, then a lot of the dream is erased, for lack of a better word, as you wake up. But if you're awoken mid-cycle, then a lot of times you can remember more of the dream, which maybe is why Dan remembers more dreams, because he has 4 kids to awaken him mid-cycle. But in all seriousness, though, I could see this device being used to sense that you're in the middle of a whatever cycle, and then it could wake you so you do remember your dream.
Yeah.
Or likewise, you could do the opposite, hook it up to your alarm clock and say, hey, if I'm not quite out of the cycle yet, don't wake me up yet, wait another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's lots of opportunities here. I'm a little bit hesitant to get too excited about it yet, so we shall see.
I think I'm a fan of my entertaining dream interpretation.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Now, what we need is something that'll go in reverse instead of just sensing the brainwave, something that can send the dream to you. So you can sit down on your iPad, purchase the latest cool dream that's out there, and, lay down and hit the play button.
Did you know William Shatner was a writer?
No.
William Shatner was a writer. He wrote a series of books called Tech War. They were the Tech War series, and I think there are like 4 or 5 books in there. But that was basically the premise, is that tech was a drug, basically, where you could purchase your fantasies.
He
was a pretty crappy writer, but I was very entertained as a 12-year-old reading these novels. I think I was about 12. I may have been a little older, because they're pretty vibrant.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. There was actually a television show briefly, I think on USA, maybe for one season. You can find it on Netflix, maybe. Yeah. Anyway,
I'll have to check it out.
you should.
In the meantime, my phone is dying slowly here. I got a text message, which I assumed was someone very important, and tried to look at it, and now I've gotten all kinds of crash screens up on my Android.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to get a new phone.
That sounds like another podcast.
It does. I think next time we're going to discuss the Nexus 4. It was supposed to, actually it did arrive at my office on Friday. I was excited to get it on Friday so I'd have a chance to play with it yesterday and then be able to present it here today during the podcast and show the Nexus 4 and my thoughts on it and so on. And as it turns out, I got very sick and was not in the office on Friday. So there my new phone remains.
Yeah, I'd like to, I've been thinking about making the Samsung Note 2, Galaxy Note 2 purchase.
I think you should do that before the next podcast, and then you and I sit down and do a one show just focused on those two devices alone.
Yeah.
Done. So now you got to tell your wife you don't have any choice. You have to go out and buy this tablet.
I must get.
It's
must
a
get
business expense now, I think.
Oh. Now we're talking.
All right, moving along. Our last story of the day, we're going to talk about Amazon Kindle. Amazon FreeTime, which is only available on Kindle.
FreeTime Unlimited. So FreeTime is a new app that they introduced with their latest version of the Kindle Fire. And what this is it's an application that allows you to limit your child's exposure to all of the entertainment and whatnot available on the Kindle Fire. And just at the end of this past week here, they introduced the FreeTime Unlimited, which is a all-in-one subscription for books, games, apps, movies, and TV shows from people like Sesame Street or PBS, Nickelodeon, and Disney, Disney is kind of remarkable. It'll be interesting to see what they actually do offer from Disney. But it's a subscription service, so you pay monthly for it, but based on your settings for your child or multiple children, they can be exposed to these throughout the day. So it's geared for 3 to 8-year-olds, and I happen to have 3 to 8-year-old children. So I'm definitely going to go with the family option on this. So it's really cheap. I was really surprised that for me as a Prime member, for one child I would pay $2.99 a month, which, I mean, even on top of a Netflix or Amazon Prime subscription, that's a drop in the bucket. And then for my whole family or all of my children, $6.99 for up to 6. That's pretty reasonable. Now, if you're not a Prime member, you're looking at $4.99 for one child or $9.99 for, again, up to 6 children.
That's still not unreasonable, but why aren't you already a Prime member?
Exactly. Free 2-day shipping. Now, they also offer a one month free trial. Now, here's the bummer. If you bought a Kindle Fire when it first came out, back in 2011, you're out of luck. The FreeTime Unlimited is not going to be available on any of the Kindle Fires that were manufactured in 2011, at least as of yet. They haven't rolled it out. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But
I wonder why that is.
I'm assuming that it's a hardware limitation.
It must be, but I wonder what it could be. I mean, what are they doing that's so special?
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
So I'm really excited about this. I have an 8-year-old who just burns through books. I mean, one book right after another. This will be really exciting to get him involved in, and then, quite honestly, let him take the Kindle Fire to bed with him, and he can read at night with that. I'm absolutely behind this. The educational apps on top of it, it sounds like a win-win.
Now, you have to have a Kindle Fire device. It doesn't work on any other kind of device.
That's true.
And what do these devices cost? Do you really want to hand it to your 3-year-old?
Do I want to hand it to my 3-year-old? Probably not unsupervised. So the cheapest Kindle Fire is $199, which is relatively inexpensive.
Actually, that's the cheapest Kindle Fire HD. It looks like...
Yes. You can get the second-gen Kindle Fire made in 2012 for $169. Am I quoting that right, Mike?
It's shown 159 right now, but who knows if it's a special something right now.
Okay. So, and then they have an 8.9-inch version, which is I think 299, and then they have a 399 and a 499 version of the 8.9-inch.
Yeah, and it says coming soon for the 8.9.
Yeah. So
we're talking about between 160 and $300, depending on which one you get.
Yeah. And to answer your question about the 3-year-old, my wife has the original Kindle Fire, and she does let our 3-year-old, she's almost 3, play with it. She uses that to allow Caradwin to trace her letters on the Kindle Fire.
Wow.
So we have an app there.
Now, does she play FreeTime? Have you tried this with her yet?
I have not played FreeTime. So unfortunately, the Fire that we have right now is not compatible with FreeTime Unlimited. Yes. So this has actually pushed me to make the purchase for the latest Kindle Fire.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe they're taking a page out of Apple's book.
Yeah, I could see that, but honestly, there's not much more money in it for them when you buy a new device, because Amazon has such a low profit margin on these Kindle Fires.
I believe that's true.
So it's all about the content. They want to get these subscription services out there.
Right.
And this is smart. I mean, I have 4 kids. I definitely want them, if they're going to be interacting with technology throughout the day a lot, then this is the way I would like for it to happen.
Yeah. And I don't think we discussed in detail here about the limits that you can do on it. That's kind of one of the biggest things for me on it.
Yeah, so the FreeTime the app itself originated as a way to limit the amount of time and applications for which the child would be exposed to. So that's ideal. And so the Nexus software now allows for multiple user accounts, but you don't have that on the Kindle Fire. Now, as I understand it, with the FreeTime, you can actually set up profiles for your children, so you know which child it is. So my 8-year-old, for example, might get a little bit more time than my 6-year-old or my 3-year-old.
Right. Or adjust the times a little bit. Like, for example, you can put in limitations for how long they're allowed to spend reading books, watching videos, using apps.
Right.
So maybe whoever gets a little bit more time watching videos or whatever.
So they've definitely caused me to want the new Kindle Fire HD. I'll probably go with the 7-inch version too. I really like the way the 7-inch can be carried around, and my wife's a little tough on technology, and she's dropped hers and beat it up a bit. So it's survived for over a year now, or about a year. So I think I'm going to go with it.
Cool. So you're getting what was the other device you were getting? A Note, and
yes.
And a Kindle Fire for next time.
I don't know if I'll have actually, it should be after Christmas. So, yeah, definitely should have the Kindle Fire HD after Christmas.
Well, we'll have some good shows coming up then.
Yeah.
Some interesting hands-on technology for you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, in the meantime, hope everyone has a great holiday, and we'll put in these up in the show notes so that you have a chance to look at these and maybe get your purchases in before next time as well. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to let us know. You can reply back in the forums. Just go to techguy.tv, click on show notes for any episode, and you can reply in there, give us some feedback. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. Give us a little bit of push that way as well. We'd appreciate it. And thank you very much, Danny. We'll see you next year.
Sure thing.